guys, it's Meet the Expert. It's Monday. I'm Lawrence Prezman, the Prez. Andrew McInnis joining us. Excited to do this show. What a weekend for me. I binge watched a whole lot of stuff. Andrew and I will talk about it. But first and foremost, Andrew McInnis, how are you, my friend?
Brez, doing as good as I can be. I miss doing regular things. I miss puck time with you guys. I miss, just being able to do the typical things I could be doing before. But, we all have to do our best to try and stay inside and, limit the spreading. And, just like yourself, I've been watching your episodes, watching TV, trying to work out different things to keep myself busy. But it's tough, man. Like, there's only so many things you can do without, going out and about.
He is Andrew McInnis. What have you been doing? Have you been working out? Have you been doing anything?
I just got a home gym set up yesterday, so hopefully I'm going to shake off some skinny nicknames that I have from some friends and try and put on some mass here over this time. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I'll be soon flexing on every show like you are, but I don't think that's in any near future. Just hanging out with my girlfriend, watching a lot of different shows. I played Monopoly last night. I haven't played that in a long, long time. That was a good time, but honestly, not too much you can do. That's why I'm really excited to be on this show and answer any questions you might have and the viewers might have and see where this goes.
Monopoly, dude.
You played that and Risk.
Yeah, okay. Risk is a game that is perfect for this situation because it's a game that never ends. I used to play Risk a lot back in my pot smoking days, university. I don't ever recall a Risk game coming to an end.
You pretty much just have to declare a winner. Like you said, you could roll forever. You could be there for days just rolling to see who's the last person alive. So, yeah, you're right. But, I mean, the whole point, Prez, we're trying to pass time. I don't really have anywhere to be. This is the first obligation I've really had in several days.
Yeah, I mean, my strategy playing Risk was always to own Australia and build from there.
I've heard of that, but I think it can come back to bite you in the ass a little bit if you don't build big because, obviously it's pretty small property, so you can get yourself kind of cornered in. I heard you've been playing some Scrabble. I was in the group chat a couple days ago. I've been hearing about some different words that you guys had. There was a new word. I saw a Viv was sharing. What's that all about?
Well, listen, here's the thing with Scrabble. I hadn't played it a lot. It wasn't my game. Then Vivian basically suggested let's play. We played 5 games. She beat me 5-0. Since then, we are 10-6. I have won the last game that we've played, which is the most important game.
You're keeping the stats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's in my phone. We do the same with backgammon. Backgammon, we're at about 150 games in total. Hey, guys. Hey, Vlog. Hey, Brian. Hey, Ryan. Hey, Vlogminski. Behave today, okay, brother? Like, we love having you on, so behave. We are on, right?
How have these comments been for you? How are you liking the live shows?
I'm enjoying them. The days are up and down. I'm going a little bit stir crazy. My kid last night, I got one kid at my house. My ex-wife, thank God, she's my ex-wife.
Whoa.
My ex-wife has the other kid. So, yeah. I don't know. Today I woke up a little bit bummed, but the weather stinks in Toronto, and I think that's largely what it is. Everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. Vlog is being booted regardless. Okay, well, I'll leave that to the bosses, but I think Vlog means well. I think there's a genuinely good dude in there. I just think he's probably a little bit bored. Hey, Andrew Thrasher, NHL to come back in July. What do you think, Andrew?
I don't think it's coming back. For a while, I thought it was going to, and then just seeing how long we're gonna have to take a lot of precaution here. And as much as the NHL wants it to come back, and as badly as they want to award a Stanley Cup champion, first and foremost, whoever ended up being the Stanley Cup champion after all this, if they did play, there would be a huge asterisk next to their name. It wouldn't really be a pure champion. And I think that's something that a lot of people are thinking about. But, they proposed starting in around late June, early July. The problem is you have to think about the draft. You have to think about free agency period. All of that is going to get confined into such a small period of time. So honestly, I just really think everything's going to be on hold for a long time. They're going to pick things up. I'm just hoping that CFL starts on time. That's what I'm hoping for, which I know not many people watching at home probably watch the CFL, but it's growing, and it's definitely one of my favorite sports to handicap.
Yeah, and let's talk about that for a second. Then I've got a lot of questions to ask you. I'm excited to do this show with you. The CFL is not going to start up for the mere fact that here's the thing. Baseball, MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL to some degree, they have massive TV contracts, massive, in the billions. And they don't need fans in the stadium. What they need to do is get back on television so that they can get paid under their TV contracts. MLS, which is the soccer league in North America, and CFL rely almost solely on attendance to make money. Without fans in the stands, they are not coming back. So I think we're going to likely see I think baseball will be first, and then I think we're going to see the major sports return before the sports that literally require audiences in the stands. Andrew, Halifax, that's where you're from. It's a very small town in the middle of nowhere. On a normal day in July, there's 7 people in the streets. What is it like now?
Yeah, I mean, I know you've had some fun talking about Halifax and how small it is. Definitely compared to where Prez lives, for everybody out there watching, it definitely is a lot smaller of a place. I live in the capital city of my province, so everybody knows in Canada we have provinces, not states. So where Prez is, I'm farther east coast. Pretty much the problem is, you said you were having bad weather. We were actually having great weather for the past.
It was unbelievable. This weekend was spectacular.
Okay. Yeah, so people were going to all the parks, going for walks, going for hikes, and that was really the issue, because they're talking about social distancing and isolating and different things, but you can still go out for walks. But, in certain areas of town, there's only certain parks to go to and certain really nice trails and hikes and walks to go to. So they ended up showing up at a spot where there would be, 30, 40 other people. And that really defeats the whole purpose of it. It was, let's say self-isolated, but still go for a walk. But if everybody goes for a walk in the same place, it was kind of defeating the purpose. But, Prez, I do. And I really do love where I'm from. A lot of different things I do here in my hometown. I obviously grew up here. I did a lot of work here. I coach various different sports. I have a lot of my family around here, a lot of my friends. So, wherever life takes me, I'd be happy to go. But Halifax is always going to be home for me.
Of course, brother. Vlog, I hate the trailer park boys. Zeke, and I'm from Thornhill, not Mississauga. And Andrew, let's get into the show, my friend. How old are you?
22.
Oh, to be 22. And you are, people don't realize this. You're what, 6'4", 6'6"?
Yeah, close to 6'5", 6'4", 6'5".
So, what was your best sport growing up?
Basketball and volleyball. So that's the biggest misconception, Prez, that at first when people would say, okay, you're a hockey guy, you're the hockey expert, you're the hockey better. I think you have to know about a sport. You have to have some experience playing the sport. But by no means do I think you have to have, played AAA or junior hockey to be able to handicap the sport. And for myself personally, I enjoy breaking down NHL games more than I enjoy breaking down NBA games, even though I played more basketball. Does that make sense to you?
It certainly does. And yeah, Carmine is in Thornhill as well. Zeke, but Andrew, let's get right into that, because you say you think you need to have played a sport to handicap it, and I don't agree with that. But there are
I'm saying you don't.
There are different styles of handicapping. We had some people on last week, especially Gianni, the Greek, one of the best bettors on the planet. Not only did he not play sports, but he couldn't tell you who plays on what team. These guys are all looking at numbers and not teams. What is your sort of overall strategy as a handicapper? Systems? Are you playing numbers? Are you playing teams? Are you playing spots? Tell us about that.
I would say I'm very similar to Marco, where I'm playing situations. I'm playing certain spots that I really like. I look really far into the future, especially with travel spots. Traveling is a huge part of my handicapping. Looking to see when a team is traveling out west, looking to see when a West Coast team is traveling to the east, and trying to find a spot that I think might see fit. Many people say that obviously playing a sport, you might not have to play it, but I think you still have to have knowledge of the sport. And obviously, many people have proved me wrong with that. But, before I got into handicapping, and I still do now, I'm in quite a bit of the sports media world, Prez. And when you're around that world, you get to really see, the life of the athletes, what they go through, the wear and tear. This is not just show up and play hockey, show up and play basketball. These college kids are regular people just like me and you, and a lot of people forget it. We see people on Twitter cursing them out, wondering why they dropped 30 points one night, why they dropped, 8 points the next. These people are human beings just like us, and we have to understand their tendencies. So there's a lot of a reason why when a team gets back after a 6-game road trip back home, they want to see their family. They want to do things around town. They want to spend time with their wife. That first game back at home might not be the best game, even though people might think, okay, they're back home. They want to play good in front of their home crowd. I look for certain situational spots. Now, do I think that numbers are great? Of course I do. But for everybody out there watching this and wants to learn about me and how I look at things, it's more so about what the situation is and what the matchup is. I'll give you an example. Before this whole break started, obviously when sports kind of got canceled or suspended, it was the Boston Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning playing each other. It was a home and home series, and we had Boston and Tampa Bay, and they beat them really, really good. They put the work to them. Tampa goes to Boston. Most people would think, okay, if Boston beat Tampa in the first one, what's to say Tampa won't beat Boston, or what's to say they won't beat them again? It's always a revenge factor. You're feeling good about yourself. You're maybe on too much of a high or too much of a low. And that's what happens. I like to back a team on the second half of a home and home that lost, not the team that won, and just certain situations like that, Prez.
He's Andrew McInnis. You can find him at sportsmemo.com. I'm Lawrence Prezman, the Prez co-founder of WagerTalk Media. Vlog wants to know if we accept his apology. Vlog, I'm going to leave that to Johnny and Minty. But just behave, man. Just behave. And Johnny, Detroit, he never played football and tied for first in the Super Contest back in the day. We're going to actually be discussing that, Johnny, on Wednesday's show. Andrew, I got so many questions. Before I get into that, I want to tell you guys about my weekend. Basically, my daughter, Ty, she is almost 17 years old, 16 and a half, whatever the case may be. Me and her are on quarantine together. We watched Friday Night Lights. Man, I remember Friday Night Lights being a lot better than it was. That movie was just depressing, and the ending scene with the sad ass music and people crying. I mean, like, I give that movie a 5 out of 10, and I thought It was amazing. It was slow. It's interesting to watch movies through the eyes of somebody who is young and has never seen that movie before. It was just slow. We watched Miracle. Miracle is the NHL movie. Kurt Russell plays Herb Brooks. It's Miracle on Ice. That movie is absolutely spectacular. And then we watched Coach Carter, which I think was the best of the three.
Love it, Prez. I've seen it like 20 times. Love it.
Yeah, Coach Carter was absolutely awesome. And my kid said to me, the reason she liked Coach Carter was, firstly, she liked basketball better because there were less people on the team. So they were able to go deeper into the storylines of people. Whereas in football, there's so many guys on the team. It was much more surface. But if anybody else has some sports movies to suggest, please feel free. That's what my kid and I are doing. I also watched a ton of American Idol. I'll admit it. Bubblegum crap, but hey, we got a lot of shows ahead of us. I finished
You have to
The
show her
Boys on
Moneyball.
what, Andrew?
Show her Moneyball, Prez. I don't
She
know. I'm sure
liked
you've seen the
Moneyball.
movie.
She has seen it. I finished The Boys on Prime. I thought it was awesome. Johnny D, I highly recommend. Minty, by the way, I know you suggested Rookie of the Year. You're not allowed to make suggestions to me. You've been officially banned. You sent 3 country songs. All of them made me want to puke. And then you hated Pink Floyd. So, yeah. I'm just kidding. Oh, Johnny, you told me to watch The Boys.
I'm team Minty with that, Prez, just so you know. I'm a country fan myself as well, so I've got Minty's back with that. I like country. I don't know what song she sent you.
It's called Talk, was one of them by the Florida, Georgia, blah-bitty-blah-blahs. And
Okay.
it literally sounded like every other country song I've ever heard in the last 10 years. Okay, but we're just playing with you, Minty. We love having you on. And guys, stay tuned because we've got some more shows coming your way. Hopefully starting Wednesday. We are active. We are doing this all the way through to the end. Okay, Mr. 22-year-old, let's go. How did you get into this industry? You're 6 years removed from puberty, so regale us.
So yeah, I mean, you laid it out. We talked about age. The fact is I've seen, Teddy on this show, Marco, Gianni. The fact is, for me, I've had to confine all of these mistakes, learning lessons, experiences. In this time where they've had 25 to 30 years, I've had about 4 to 6 years. So everything that they've done, I've had to do in such a confined space. And I haven't been able to do, obviously, as much as a lot of people in this industry. But I'll tell you one thing for myself is I've learned from every mistake that I've made. And I think I can really credit just social networking, just the power of networking, putting yourself out there. When I first started doing play-by-play and announcing in my local hometown, my dream was always to be
later.
I was always a fan of sports broadcasting. Anyway, so I started a Twitter account for that. And I started to gain some followers. So I said, you know what? I really like betting on sports. I'm going to make a betting account for sports betting, a Twitter account. So I do that, and I realize, you start meeting new people. You're following all kinds of people, and it's just amazing because all these people, including yourself, who I talk to most days, I've never actually met in person. So it's a whole community of people, and I see how people are doing this. I see people are, posting their plays and keeping their records. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that myself. I'm going to start posting my picks every morning in baseball or hockey or basketball and see where it goes, see how the response is, see how I get some following and see what happens there. And then it slowly started to grow when I made a following. And I'll just say this right here, Prez. I think what really the biggest thing for me was that so many guys on there, they're releasing 10-unit plays, Prez, 20-unit, max bet bombs, all this stuff, And a lot of those people are probably my age that are doing that. I don't believe in that.
It's people 1 unit. My age doing that, Andrew.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's age. But
ultimately, the way it works for the majority of handicappers out there is you make your money on these big games of the year, and the whole thing is a joke. Anybody who is familiar with WagerTalk.com, we do not have games of the year. We only have 3%, 4%, and 5% plays. We are grinders. Hey, Vivi. Hey, Andrew, Vivian finally logged on so the show can begin because,
There we go.
If nobody hears a tree fall in the forest, did it really fall in the forest? It ain't a show without my Vivian on it.
Since you're shouting out your Vivian, I have to shout out my Lindsay. It's her birthday today. She's watching the show, my girlfriend's birthday. So, tough time. I wish we could celebrate, have a big party today, but we can't. But I'm sure we'll have some fun.
Yeah, listen, nothing is better than celebrating with your loved one alone. So
I'm not going to disagree with that. It's going to be a fun night, Prez.
Yes, well, and she gets to climb all over a 6'5" guy. So there's a lot of jealous women out there, Andrew. I like that you shaved.
I knew I was seeing you today. It's a big show today.
Okay, dude, do you ever buy picks from anybody?
Let me finish. I want to
Go
finish
ahead.
how I got into it, but then I'll get to that. So pretty much, the first person I ever reached out to was Drew Martin and a couple different guys. There was Drew, and there was Matt DeSaro. Matt is a digital social networking guy. He's worked for various different sports betting companies. He linked me up with SBR, and now I was doing videos with SBR. I started doing NHL videos, and I didn't find out, Prez, until 4 or 6 months later that I was supposed to be getting paid for all those videos. I was working for free doing all these videos just trying to make a name for myself. And that's, it became a passion. More so, obviously, you want to turn a hobby into a job, but it was just a passion of mine. And I think a lot of people don't realize that because we have a fun job, you know, it's still such a grind. The research, all these shows that you're doing, preparing, trying to do your write-ups, do your reports. It's harder than people might think. So I met Drew Martin through SBR, and I saw in his bio, and he would always be tweeting about Sports Memo as well. And so I barely even knew the guy, and I said, Drew, that seems awesome. Like, how can I do that? And that was a little bit after I started my own company, Premium Sports Information, Premium Sports Info. And I did that for a little while, but I realized I'm not going to get big on my own. And, I was having success. Fast forward, I think probably a year or two. I'm at a pool party. I look over, I see my phone ringing, and it's a guy named the Prez giving me a phone call. And I never even knew what your name was. I'm not even joking. You don't even know this. Probably for a month that I knew you, I had no idea your name was even Lawrence. I had people on the phone say to me, I don't know, man. I think his name's Prez. That's what everybody calls him.
I'm like the
So
Beyonce of
that was pretty
sports
much the story.
handicapping, baby.
Exactly. So then, had a phone call with you. We had a follow-up phone call about a week or two later. About a couple days after that, I'm on WagerTalk for a few days. Sports Memo kicked in. We're doing CFL. We're doing NHL. Here we are right now. I mean, I started off doing just a few sports. I've had massive streaks in NBA. I've had streaks in college hoops. CFL, I started the year off 9-0 last year. It's just been unbelievable. I have to thank you and Johnny and the rest of the clan for welcoming me in, but it's been an absolute grind ever since.
Dude, you do color or play by play?
I do mostly I do play-by-play for volleyball and color commentary for hockey, and then for basketball, I'm the in-house announcer.
Okay, so who do you do that all for?
For local universities, so for Dalhousie University and St. Mary's University.
Play by play is unbelievably hard. I mean, I sit there and try do it like just alone watching TV, oh, McDavid down the left wing, passes to Draisaitl, back to McDavid, comes in from the left to the right, screens the goalie, shoots. I'm a disaster, dude. And I can talk.
You have to get into a zone. You really have to have some type of confidence when you're up there. The funny thing is, Prez, when I'm doing the in-house announcing, sometimes I'm a lot more nervous and on edge than when I'm actually doing the play-by-play because you're seeing the people that are hearing you. When you're up in the booth, when you're up top, you don't actually see anybody listening to you, especially sometimes if you're on your own or with just one other guy in the room. It's literally just you two. So if you're comfortable and you've known the person for a long time, it's just you two talking about the game. This guy talks about what's going on with the game. And then during the whistles, I talk about what happened. I'll tell you what sucks, Prez. Doing the play-by-play or color commentary for a blowout. That's the worst. If you're doing the play-by-play for a 7-1 hockey game, there's only so much you can say. This team is way better. This team is way better than the other team, and there's nothing really else you can say about it.
I don't think I'm going to shave until the end of COVID. Sorry, Viv. Andrew, so before you became a handicapper, did you ever buy from anybody?
I bought from one person, and that was a mistake. It's a learning lesson. Like I told you,
say who it was. I don't care.
It's not like a company or anything like that. It was just somebody on Twitter. They weren't very popular, so that's probably my first mistake. But it was something I would get texts. I would get texts every single day with just baseball picks. The guy would send me 2 to 3 picks. And, several years ago, I think just like a lot of people, when they start off gambling or sports betting, I was doing the parlay cards. So you know how it is in Canada, Prez. It's only legal for us to do here at the local corner stores. You can go and make your parlays on any sport, but they have to win by, you can either do the spreads or they have to win by, 6 in basketball or so on and so forth. There's no overtime in hockey, things like that. And those are types of things that I really tell anybody in Halifax now to never do. But I was doing parlays. So what I would do was I would tell this baseball guy, hey man, I don't want your 4 or 5 picks, or I don't want you to just blow up my phone every day with, this guy would tell me every single day, bet the Red Sox, bet the Yankees, bet the Astros. You don't want to hear that. Anybody could go out there and bet these minus 180s every day. It's ridiculous. But what I would do is I would tell him to give me 2 picks each day. I'd wake up to the text message. I'd go to the store, and I was putting, you get the maximum amount you could bet per card was $25, and so I would bet the 2 teams on one card and run it through 4 times for $100 and see how that goes. And it ended up, being all right. But what I realized was, why did I pay this guy to do something I could easily have done myself?
It looks like I'll be shaving tonight.
What's she saying? I can't read. I'm not reading the chat right.
About the shaving, and then there's like a penis cutter offer and a emoji with a closed mouth. That does not bode well for me, Andrew. Nope.
I won't be shaving after this.
I'm going to go shave right now.
All right.
Andrew, one piece of advice for everybody sports betting. What would that be?
Very generic. I think most people are saying it, but don't try and make $1 million overnight. You have to really think it's a long-term game, and more specifically, because I know a lot of people are going to give you this answer, I think you have to really think about a small win is a win. You don't, every single night doesn't have to be, increasing your bankroll by 5% or 10%. If you're increasing it by 1% or 2%, it's all about week to week, month to month, 3 months to 3 months, 6 months to 6 months. It's all about keeping track long term. And that's what's so great about, at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we have our back end, our system to keep track of our stats, to keep track of our streaks. That way we can always let our clients know and people know on Twitter. And there's no BS there. I mean, I personally send screenshots on my laptop. I'll screenshot our back end and say, hey, look, this is right here, computer generated, no Photoshop, none of this. This is exactly what we did, exactly what kind of runs that we're on. And it's really the best piece of advice I could give someone as far as betting. Anybody that's trying to bet on a lot of different sports, if you're betting on a lot of different sports at once, keep your volume low. And this is coming from someone that I can tell you right now, and I still, sometimes I'm looking at Prez, we're doing puck time together, and I can just say, I'm feeling it today. Prez, I love 6 picks in the NHL. I'm not going to do that to my clients if I already have a few NBA, some college. I can't be giving out 15 picks. It's about the respect of my bankroll, of my clients' bankrolls. And for anybody on Twitter that's trying to interact with people or make a name for themselves, just be respectful. I think that's something I've always tried to do. Just, you can have jokes, you can be cocky about a big win, whatever, but be respectful overall. I want to say it really bugs me, Prez. I see people talking bad about, people, our coworkers, or saying things about, Kelly or Minty or whatever. It really does bug me. So these people have to have some respect.
Yeah, Abel just writes, or just typed in that his daughter is older than you, Andrew. Look, there's a lot of people older than Andrew, but the bottom line when it comes to sports betting is really the time you put into it, and the mistakes that you make early, and how you learn from them. And guys, I can attest to the fact that, we've got 35 handicappers over at Sports Memo and WagerTalk.com, and there's very few people that work harder than Andrew. Andrew is learning and mastering his craft. We are incredibly impressed with you, Andrew. You've been outstanding in every sport since you've joined us. You are well on your way to being a really great handicapper in this industry. But I understand. That there are 50-year-old men, 40-year-old men that feel like they know better than you, that they've been around the bend better than you, that they have more experience than you. What do you say to those people? Why should those people trust a 22-year-old just learning? And I mean, not necessarily starting out in the sports betting industry because you've been making bets for years and years and years, but starting out in the handicapping industry.
Well, first of all, I appreciate the kind words, Prez. And secondly, I think the fresh eyes aspect is a big thing. A lot of people that have been involved in this for 30, 40, 50 years, however many years they are, I think that I have a fresh set of eyes that many people might not have. There's not as much bias with me. There's not as much, favoring certain players, favoring certain teams. Some people that might have system play or a situational play they've been using for the past 20 years, that's not going to work, over and over and over again.
Let's get back to what you're saying, but I just want to jump in because that is such a great point, man. I mean, we know, Johnny and I, we get applications day and night from handicappers, and you're right, dude. Some of these guys who have been doing this for 20, 30, 40 years, they're really set in their ways, and they have system plays that they want to just keep on playing over and over and over again. And at some point, you're right. The world changes. Things change. The athletes today are much different to the athletes even 10 years ago. You look at the conditioning of somebody like Connor McDavid versus Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky used to joke all the time how he never worked out. You look at the conditioning of the offensive lineman in the NFL versus, the offensive lineman many years ago, and on and on and on. And, a lot of the systems that were working 20 years ago don't work today. So that is a really great point. Continue.
And just overall, I think as far as, handicapping goes, the research methods that can change, really. I would say I'm pretty good with technology. I love the chats that I have with Johnny Detroit. He's great with social media, different technology stuff. The access that I have compared to a lot of people I would say are, older handicappers, I'll say, maybe they don't have the knowledge to use these websites. They don't know how to access this. They don't know how to make charts. I think I'm really good with Microsoft Excel. I'm good at making charts, good at making graphs, and I'm not a big numbers guy. I'll tell you that, Prez. I mean, you've heard me speak with you about why I like NHL games sometimes, on puck time. But when it comes down to it, I feel like having fresh eyes and being younger can be a complete advantage. And especially even from just, a whole brand perspective. I'm on these podcasts every day with you. I'm making my own videos. I'm on Twitter interacting with the rest of the audience and trying to make a name for myself while being respectful and interacting with the community. Whereas some people, they have a picture of a car as their picture, their avatar. They're talking about making $20 million in the next week. I'm not about that.
He's Andrew McInnis. You can find him at sportsmemo.com. I played a ton of poker yesterday on PokerStars. I played 3 different tournaments. I cashed in 2. I went really, really deep in one, and I just want to make mention to everybody. Next Monday, so a week from today, will be a monster, have-to-watch, must-not-miss show. A very close friend of mine, the world-famous, the legendary David Williams will be joining me for an hour of talk. Dave Williams is the #1 Magic the Gathering player in the world. He's in the Magic the Gathering Hall of Fame. He came second in Master Chef, the American Master Chef, not like Barbadian Master Chef or Halifaxian Master Chef where 4 people showed up with poutine and a pancake.
And don't air.
And he's literally one of the best poker players of all time. He also does a lot of commentating in the World Series main event. So, guys, write it down in your calendar. Next Monday, myself and Dave Williams, we are talking poker, magic. Dave is an incredible sports bettor. He's part of a huge syndicate. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about recipes. And Dave is incredible at buying and selling crypto, so we'll also be talking about that. It might be longer than an hour, but he has confirmed to give me an hour of his time. So make sure next Monday, David Williams. Tomorrow, Brian Leonard. That's going to be a really great show. And we'll have Johnny and Rick on Wednesday, and then Dave Koken on Thursday. And just for everybody to know, I'm going to really spend a lot of the Thursday show with Dave Koken trying to get on his nerves.
That won't take long.
Andrew Carm texted me last night. I haven't even responded. He's like, I want a redo on my show. What do you think? Should we give him a redo?
Sure. What makes him want the redo is what I'm wondering.
Well, the problem was Dave Koken was supposed to go on that Monday. He actually canceled with like 20 minutes to go. Carm stepped in. We had nothing prepared, and he probably didn't like the show. Carm, we'll have a vote, Carm, on whether you get a redo or not. Andrew, give us a typical day in the life of Andrew McInnis in, let's say, November.
So, I mean, that's still like introduction to hockey season. There's a couple different seasons going on. Wake up right away, cup of coffee. I'll walk to my local coffee shop, get some coffee, sometimes buy breakfast. Sometimes I'll make breakfast, depending on how I'm feeling. Come back, instantly kind of open up different websites, start reading about all the games, spend a few hours at least, breaking down every game, depending on how big the card is. If it's a Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, that's going to take at least a few hours to figure out, first of all, which games I want. Then once I figure out which games I want, then I can really start diving into the stats and things like that about why I like it and how I can back up my reasoning for my picks. Then I have shows, pretty much. Then I'd have puck time with you around 2 o'clock my time. And then middle of the afternoon, I'm starting to work on my write-ups. So all my clients are going to get write-ups from me on every single play that I give out. And that takes more time than someone might think. You want your client to understand why you like a certain pick. That's the whole thing about the whole analysis aspect of this. If you like Washington, Prez, and I like, Colorado, you and I could both have write-ups that are explaining great sides for both teams. So I'm doing that. And then I have another show at 4 o'clock my time. And then I kind of finish up all my stuff. And I'll do some promo videos. I coach volleyball most evenings around 6 or 7 o'clock. I play in my own league around 8:30 or 9 most nights, 4 nights a week. And then I try and find some time to go to the gym. And then I go home and watch the games.
Okay, Lindsay, I'm sorry about how busy your man is. That's for sure. And Abel, you don't need to ever put the word pink in front of Floyd. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I just finished a Pink Floyd book called Comfortably Numb. I highly recommend it to any fans out there.
Well, Prez, I got to say before I get off topic here, the best part about it, and I hope she's watching. I know it's a busy day with her birthday, but she's my neighbor, actually. So that's the best part. I'm watching a hockey game, finish the game. I walk up maybe 30 seconds up the road, and I'm at her place. So that's definitely an advantage.
Yeah, so all of you guys online listening to the show, watching it later, if you're into neighbor porn, Andrew lives it.
Can't argue it.
I watched some Aussie Rules football this week. I lived in Australia for 3 years. I know the sport very, very well.
Really?
I don't actually think it's live, though. I think I'm watching old games.
Wasn't. On TSN?
Yeah.
I was doing the same thing. I was trying to bet on it, and I said, "Oh no! Like this is a recorded game. The next game is at like 5:30 in the morning." So I watched that so many times. I don't understand it. You have to explain it to me. I don't understand it.
Okay, well, I'm happy to explain it to you. I went to the finals in 1994 or 5. The Sydney Swans won. Tony Lockett was their superstar. Andrew, it's really quite simple. You're not allowed to take more than 3 steps holding the ball. That's why they bounce the ball to themselves every 3 steps. You have to basically you kick the ball to your opponent instead of passing the ball. If they catch the ball without it bouncing, it's called a mark. That's so you can basically, so the play stops and you can kick the ball from where you caught it. If you kick it through the 2 closer uprights, you get X number of points. I can't remember. I think it's 4 or 6. And if you kick it through the small uprights, you get 1. It's a very rough game because people are jumping very high and to catch those punted balls, and you have guys just annihilating you in midair. But it's also a game that probably requires the most fitness out of any game in the world. And I understand soccer requires a ton of fitness. But Aussie rules football, the field is about 4 times that of a soccer field.
It's huge.
These guys are running all game long. It is an incredibly fun sport to watch once you have figured it out. Goals and behind. Zeke knows his stuff.
It looks fun.
I never grew up playing it, so I didn't play it. I just watched it. But I mean, I know every sport. I mean, cricket. I can talk cricket till you're blue in the face. I love rugby, both rugby league and rugby union. Did you know there are 2 different types of rugbies in this world?
I didn't. I was going to ask you how you would compare rugby to Aussie rules football.
There's no comparison.
Not at all.
No, I mean, how do you compare ice hockey to bobsledding? Why would there be a comparison?
They're both on a field. The ball is pretty similar shape.
Okay, fine. So then let's put NFL in there too.
I guess. But the thing is with the NFL, there's stoppages every 30 seconds.
Vlog. Be careful, vlog. We don't need to know this stuff. Sorry, Andrew, go on.
I was going to say in the NFL, there's stoppages like every 30 seconds. But in Aussie rules football, isn't there more an ongoing play?
Yeah, it's a flow. But in rugby league, there's stoppages every few seconds as well.
Right.
And listen, Carm, I'm happy to be retired in 5 years. And just so you know, Carm, you talk about lawn bowling. My grandfather was a world champion lawn bowler. So it would be a privilege to bowl on the lawn. I know nothing about it. I know a little bit about lawn bowling, actually. I could explain the rules of that sport to you as well. Andrew, real quick question. I've been out in Halifax once. I drove around the corner. I drove to a point.
The one corner in the whole city.
Yeah, there's only one corner in Halifax. I just want to say this. There is an area in Halifax that's magnificent. There must have been 200 kite surfers. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure where you would have been. I don't really know. Was it like central town, like downtown, or was it outside of the city?
No, it was kite surfing, dude. It's not downtown. It's in the water.
Oh! I know. I know what you mean. Yeah, right in the. I know what you mean.
It's like there's a little bend.
Like
it was unbelievable to watch, man. Have you done it? I mean, you got to be strong enough. Kite surfing takes a lot of strength, and you're probably strong enough.
I've never done it. I wanted to say quickly, Prez, Teddy has told me that he loved Halifax. So as much as you talk about Halifax being a small city, he has told me that he's taken his family there a few times, and he loves it. This is the best small city vibe you can get probably in the entire world. The fact that you get the nicest people in Canada, you can't really argue it. The amazing views, the food you're going to get in the summer. However, I will say to you, don't come here in the winter to anybody. Tourism is only the months of July and August. I've never done that, though, Prez. I think I've seen people doing it, but I have never done it myself.
It's supposed to be an absolute blast. Andrew, we're not going to keep the show going much longer. I want to ask you a bottom line question. And everyone, remember, tomorrow is Brian Leonard, 1 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to tune in. What separates you from other handicappers? Why should people trust you?
I think it's the honesty factor. You don't really see much hype. There's no hyperbole with me. It's just what you see is what you get. And that's been the pure example of what I've tried to make out of myself for the past 5 to 6 years. And for as long as I've been around this community, you're going to get complete honesty. You're going to get a work ethic. And I put myself out there every single day. I see you doing it. I see Carmine doing it. A lot of the guys do it. When you lose a pick, when I lose a bad pick, a 5% pick, I'm right back on puck time the next day, talking about my loss. Every single day I'm breaking down the card. And a lot of people, that are in this industry, this is a side hustle for them, Prez. This is a side gig for a lot of people.
Yep.
This is what I do. We've talked about my age. There's no elephant in the room. We know how young I am. This is my career, so anybody out there that's, a little bit older wondering, hey, why should I buy plays from this kid? Well, the fact is this kid is putting in all the hours and it lives and breathes this whole entire job while you're at work doing whatever you do for a living. So, that's what I think really separates myself, is that this is not a 1 hour thing for me. Wake up and make my picks. This literally is what I do, for my whole career and for my life. This is how I pay the bills, that with my commentary. So when it comes down to it, Prez, that's what it is. And I'm pretty sure you can attest to it from what you've gotten to know me.
Vivian. Scorpions are not a one-hit wonder. Rock you like a hurricane. Boom. Rock you. And then they got that terrible ballad, something or other, Still Loving You. I am not a Scorpions fan, to say the least. I can't stand them, but they are not a one-hit wonder.
Prez, I want to know, just anything off script or whatever that you just want to ask me, because I know Teddy did the exact same thing. And
Ask
I know we
me
had
anything, Andrew. Anything except my bank account. I already got lectured about that. We are not discussing my finances.
No, I meant that you wanted to ask me. I've heard about you on a lot of the shows. Maybe I'll think of something to ask you, but I don't know. Is there anything that you want, have just wondered about me? I find it weird.
Yeah, I don't sit around wondering about you at all, Andrew.
When I was in Vegas and I met Marco, Teddy, Drew, Tony Finn, Minty, Kelly, all these guys, all these girls, you look at it and you think, wow, I've known this person online. We've spoken on the phone.
Well, I want you to come visit me. I want you to come to Toronto. You can stay in my place. I got a spare bedroom. We can hang out. But in all seriousness, the minute I hit stop on these shows, I don't think about you again. Beat the House just wrote his favorite movie is Caddyshack. Vivian wrote Shawshank Redemption. My favorite movie of all time, by far. It's not even close. Johnny is now, his interest is peaked. What could it be? What could it be? It's with Steve McQueen. Andrew, you want to take a guess?
No idea.
It's with James Garner.
I have no idea who that is.
It's with Richard Attenborough.
You're just messing with me at this point.
It's with Lee Marvin.
You're
Why am I messing with you? Guys, what movie features that cast?
Beats me.
It's called The Great Escape, and it is the greatest movie of all time by far. By far. It is at a different level.
Here's my question for you. And I know how you're going to answer it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. We get great comments every day. You host a lot of shows. Got to give you credit, because sometimes after 2 podcasts, you're mentally exhausted. You do a lot of shows, Prez. How do you deal with the shit that you get in comments? Because I know
I love them.
People, you chirp me, you chirp everybody. I've gotten to know you, and eventually I'll start giving it back to you a little bit more, like how everybody else does. But when you first see that, if you see it every single day, though, do you ever think maybe I should stop bugging people, or is it just fire you up to just do it more and more?
Andrew, listen, we get a lot of negative not a lot of negative comments, but we get the same people making the comments over and over and over again. It doesn't bother me at all. I actually enjoy it. Look, the bottom line is this, and it's such a great question. I cannot for the life of me understand how a grown adult can log on to our YouTube channel and actually give us a thumbs down. Like, forget comments, just a thumbs down. What would possess someone to give us a thumbs down? I mean, we are providing free content that's good content every single day. If you don't like it, don't watch it. But I mean, why? Why would you give us a thumbs down? Then those people who Interstellar, Luke Casey. Oh my God, dude. And then you were talking about Love is Blind. Okay, Luke. Great name. I think you have an awesome country music star name. You should move to Nashville, but your best movie is Interstellar. Oh, my God. Anyway,
You don't
Andrew,
like it?
these guys, these adults, grown adults making, shut up, Carm. These grown adults making negative comments on YouTube or on Twitter, these are just sad people, like lonely, upset people. It doesn't faze me at all. And some of the times I actually enjoy them, and I really do enjoy responding to them. I mean, do you read my response? Jesus loves you.
It cracks me up when you're like, thanks, my friend. Thanks for watching. A lot of times I say to people on Twitter, I hope you find happiness.
Yeah.
And they have no idea what to say back to that. They're like, what the hell? I just ripped this guy apart and he's telling me to find happiness?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Minty writes, Interstellar is amazing. Again, Minty, I think you are one of the greatest sports betting hosts on the planet. We are honored and privileged to have you with us. I don't want to hear your opinion on anything that is not related to sports, because the country music you listen to doesn't work for me. Who's your favorite country music guy?
Prez. Part of being a host and someone conducting an interview, it's not about you.
Oh, it's all about me, Andrew.
It's not.
And I'm not interviewing Minty right now. Minty, we love you. We are a huge fan, and don't ever be hushed. I want to hear your opinion. I have no doubt that Bachelor, Cake Bake, I don't even know what I'm talking about, are your favorite shows. Oh, yeah, Carm, you'll smack me for Minty. Go ahead. Andrew, how do you want to leave this, bro? I never want to get off these shows because that means I got nothing to do for the rest of the day, but I actually have a busy day today. Some management meetings over at WagerTalk. Interstellar extracted exactly one tear out of my eyes by the end. Yeah, I don't really, I know I will not interview you, vlog, ever. You get enough just being in this chat. Brian Leonard tomorrow. Andrew, take us home.
Yeah, I just want to say to everybody, be safe out there, wash your hands, and if you ever have anything you want to ask me, the whole point, if I can get one point across on this, I'm not one of those people that tries to say I'm too good for anybody. Message me on Twitter, tweet at me, give me an email. I'm one of those guys. If I see it, if I have the time, I will respond to you. I want to be a man of the people, Prez, and that's how we'll end it, because I want to know that, without the community, without the followers, without the clients, I'm just a guy sitting here at my desk chair.
And you are a really good guy, Andrew. It's such a pleasure to do these, do puck time with you on a regular basis. And Johnny wrote, you and Ski are the future for WagerTalk. And, we agree, dude. We agree. We just love the balance we have at WagerTalk with the old guys and the young guys. Alex Smith will be on as well. Yes, of course. He'll be at a couple of weeks still to go. We've got a lot more content coming your way. Go to church vlog, 100% agree. Actually had the best experience. I've been to church twice in my life. Once was with Justin Trudeau, our prime minister. Spent the weekend with him, and we went to church because it was a wedding. And the other time was with my Vivian and my brother and his girl. We went to Memphis this summer, and we went to Reverend L Green? Yeah, L Green. We went to his church. It was unbelievable. If you guys have never gone to a gospel church in the deep south of America, you are missing out. It was unbelievable, Andrew. Like, it was one of the highlights of my life.
Wow.
Okay, dude, let's call it a show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for joining us live tomorrow, 1 p.m. Brian Leonard, make sure to put a note in your phone. Next Monday, David Williams. I'm going to be talking about it all week. It's going to be a show about sports betting, poker, food, and magic. Cannot wait. But we got 4 more shows still to go. And I'll be making an announcement tomorrow about some other shows that are in development that we will have for all of you guys. WagerTalk is going nowhere. We are going to be with you guys all the way through the COVID-19 situation. I wish everybody a safe day today. Please stay indoors. Please keep your children indoors. We're going to nip this thing in the bud, but we need everybody's help to do it. Andrew, thank you for taking an hour out of your incredibly busy day doing nothing. We love you for it.
All right. Thanks, Prez. Appreciate it.